NoLimit Technology is developing a transformational technology, NoLimit betting protocol. And with me is the CEO, Rafael Groswirt, to explain this, how this is transformational, what exactly you're doing. So welcome again, great to see you, and just explain the NoLimit betting protocol. Let's start there.
Absolutely, Jane, and thank you for having me again. The NoLimit betting protocol essentially is taking really the heart of what crypto has brought to the economy, to the industry, and is the reason why it's making such tremendous inroads in all aspects of finance, which is the ability to use trustless. Trustless means that it doesn't have to be a human or a person or a committee deciding, which way things go, or a centralized party. Mm-hmm. In this case, it's a smart contract that is going to take money from the different bettors, place it into a smart contract, and at the end of the contest, distribute the money back to the winner, and then some fees to the platform. So what happens there is you no longer have to have custodial platforms. Custodial meaning where you send the money in, they hold your money, and only then you can gamble with the money you've sent in, but you're also locked out of any other platform that may have a better line, a better offer, because you've already deposited your money with a single platform. And in the case of the betting protocol, the smart contract, you always maintain custody of your money in your local wallet. So you never really hand over your money to one platform, which means that anybody with Web3 technology, which is what we are going to have on our sportsbook, which we are applying for sports licenses in different U.S. states. We've already secured a Curacao license for some international gambling. And from that point of view, we will bring transformational technology to the industry. There's $5 billion on deposit right now from players on sports books. All that money could return back to the players. They could be holding their money and deciding if they want to gamble with A, B, C, or D, and not just with a single platform where they've put the money up. So it really multiplies your ability to shop for the best deal exponentially. And there's also some theories about responsible gambling, saying that if that money's closer to you in a local wallet, you're going to be more responsible with your betting than if it's out there in a platform and it takes a couple of days to get back to you. So we're also happy that this could help in some way in that aspect also. I mean, of course, we're all about business, and so go ahead.
Well, the non-custodial is the key.
Well, it's really a transformation. I mean, normally everybody assumes, I have to send money into the platform. They have to hold it for me. If I send it to DraftKings, I can't go to MGM, FanDuel, Bet365, and all the other ones. And then, of course, the NoLimit betting platform, I won't be able to go there because I've only deposited in a single platform. Versus our model, your money's always with you. And at the moment you want to place a bet, you can decide who to do it with. And that doesn't mean that it's less strict in terms of compliance. You still have to go through full compliance, full KYC, and the platforms are responsible and they have to operate within rules. But the only tiny difference is the money, instead of being over there, it's over here. And it's a huge difference because it frees up the player to pick any platform they wish. And of course, we're going to be one platform, but we also will develop that betting protocol, which is basically a smart contract API, which would allow other platform operators to swap from their technology to ours, which we've actually filed patent for. We've already filed our non-definitive for the betting protocol. We've got multiple patents in the pipeline. So we're excited about our IP portfolio, on top of the fact that we bring transformational. I mean, that's really what the whole crypto craze is all about, it comes down to the smart contracts.
Yeah.
The smart contracts that can perform the duties of escrow officers and people and middlemen companies that all take their cuts. And this makes it a lot more efficient and safer.
And what is the book-to-book.bet? How does that work?
So book-to-book.bet is going to be the first deployment of the betting protocol in the form of a wholesale betting exchange where we will only accept licensed operators. Even though it's under Curacao law, we will still require to see if you have gaming licenses to operate, go full KYC. But then this exchange will allow large-scale sports books to trade amongst themselves using the betting protocol and bringing fees down as low as 0.1%, and bringing that same non-custodial position. So if if DraftKings has an imbalance of $3 million on a specific bet, and another book, FanDuel has the opposite situation, they're going to want to offset each other's position, let's say in a $3 million bet, but they're not going to want to send $3 million to us on deposit. Who are you guys? It doesn't matter, because now with the non-custodial model, with the smart contracts that are actually insured also, they're able to come to the centralized place, book-to-book.bet, and trade with each other in crypto with very, very small fees, all powered by NoLimit Coin and the NoLimit betting protocol, which book-to-book is going to be one platform, but really anybody, it's an open source. So anybody's going to be able to build on top of the betting platform. So for us, it's going to be exciting to sit down at a table with the large sports betting operators and have them trade with each other. And the exciting part of that is, once, let's say FanDuel and DraftKings cross a $3 million bet on the Super Bowl because each had an imbalance on either side, that contract can now be traded. Maybe in the middle of the game, a DraftKings trader says, all right, we're good. Let's hedge our bet. Let's hedge our position. Let's exit this trade. You can actually sell that contract as if it was an asset, as like an option during the span of that game. So that contract could trade hundreds of times within the span of a game. So even if we're making 0.1%, that thing trades, 10 times, that's 1% of millions of dollars. So it's a transformational technology, both for large operators, but also for the retail side, which, as I explained, opening up the options for individual bettors to go to any platform they wish.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting option for people to know about. So, and what about this, the DeFi pool in the betting protocol? Explain.
Well, it's almost like the most exciting part of everything. It's kind of hidden there between all the benefits that decentralization, the buzzword is Web3 now, where everything's decentralized. But the DeFi pool is another leap in terms of decentralization, because what happens is operators like ourselves, we don't have the kind of bankroll that maybe, MGM, Caesars, and those big operators have to take hundreds of millions of dollars in bets, because you need to have enough money to offset. Right when the game starts, you want to be neutral, meaning the same amount of bets on both sides of the teams, and that way you don't have any risk of actually being part of a bet and losing. So in the case of the DeFi, a small operator, doesn't have that kind of bankroll like we do. So that DeFi pool, normally DeFi pools today are yield chasers, right? You're chasing yield. You're trying to get a great percentage on a coin that seems safe or might even rise. And on top of that, you're going to get fees. And that's what the whole DeFi craze is all about. But what we're going to do is create a DeFi-like pool for people that want to actually chase sports betting fees. Essentially, you become a partner of the house So we would say to investors, hey, you know what? We want to have $50 million on deposit because the Super Bowl's coming. We're not going to have enough money to take action. We need 50 million in there. We'll split the fees with whoever puts money into that DeFi pool. So essentially, you're making that DeFi pool a partner in your sports betting fees at the gross profit level, not, after all the expenses. It's like right when you collect the fees from the smart contract, if there's a DeFi component, those fees will get distributed to those investors. So essentially, investors can now participate in the house side of taking sports bets and back a smaller operator like ourselves that, we want to keep 100% of the fees. But you know what? If I give up 50% of the fees to that DeFi pool, I'm going to get tens of millions of dollars in deposits so I could take huge action. So it totally outweighs that. So that's a very exciting thing, because not just for us, but for any small gaming operator, they could grow overnight if they put out the right proposition, the right platform, the right offering to the DeFi investors. The investors are going to be, thrilled. And again, in order to invest in that DeFi pool, because it is gaming, we're going to follow very strict KYC US based regulations, because we are a US company. And even if we've got, a license in Curacao, we're going to apply at Malta and other places, we're still reporting in the US and everything has to be US compliant.
Mm-hmm. And what IP does your company have?
So in this day and age, it's very important to develop IP, intellectual platforms or intellectual properties. Sorry, boom, blank out. Because IP also,
I'll do the question over. I'll tell them so we can.
Okay.
What IP does your company have?
Okay, so intellectual property, it's a very important component in this day and age of patents and so many different inventions. And in our case, we are pursuing a robust IP portfolio. We've got multiple patent applications already filed. We've already filed our non-provisional, meaning our definitive patent application for the betting protocol and exchange piece of this. So we're excited about building an IP portfolio or a patent portfolio, since these are essentially just like, digital assets. These are, intellectual property assets that could make a company extremely valuable as that technology develops. And you are also able to protect yourself from a lot of other companies that are, I call them patent trolls, because they file hundreds of patents a year, and then they try to, strong arm people, push them out of what they're doing because, we've got a patent for that. So that's, there's two reasons. One is to protect our own inventions, and two, potentially to extract also value money through licensing from our intellectual patent portfolio.
And then how do you plan to compete against a DraftKings or a FanDuel? I know you're a little different, but how can you kind of stand out among those?
Right. We get asked that, how are you going to compete against these large companies that, outgun you in terms of available capital by many times? And my response to them is that because we bring transformational technology with the betting protocol, with the decentralization of your money, of your wallet, with the DeFi pool that's going to open up investment to, regular people that, can get through AML KYC, and we're going to let them invest with the house. It's as if Caesars or MGM said, okay, you can invest on the house side of sports betting, and we're going to give you a percentage of the fees, before expenses. And because we bring transformational technology, we're the ones that have the advantage. We're the ones with the experience in crypto, with our own crypto NoLimit coin that's going to power the betting protocol. And that experience and the flexibility and the broadness of what this can transform is what's going to actually put us in a tremendous advantage, because they can't change from a day to another. And I could just imagine the guy at a meeting that says, hey, boss, this new decentralization sounds cool. Why don't we return, $480 million to clients and lose their, forced loyalty, because that's how much is on DraftKings. And they're not going to want to, they're gonna kick and scream and want to hold on to those deposits, while we are going to bring technology that says, guys, we don't want to hold your money. We'll just take some fees. You'll always keep the money in your wallet. Much better solution. Yeah. That's what's going to not just allow us to compete, essentially allow us to be better, stronger in a few years, maybe shorter.
And does that also allow you to avoid some risk on your books?
Right, because we're going to try to focus on even though we are going to deploy what's called a sports book. A sports book means that you could place a bet, anytime, day or night, boom, the book takes it. There's no such thing as, well, let me see if I can find the other side. An exchange, on the other hand, like a crypto exchange, an exchange, on the other hand, only closes a bet when the two sides agree to that bet. Thus, the platform operator has zero risk and only collects fees. And it's not in the best interest of the sports books to push the exchange model, because the profitability is 90% less. But you know what? I'll take 90% less profitability and 0% risk, because what happens is, you read about it, sometimes these sports books take massive bets on, oh, well, we were on the wrong side of this bet or the other bet or the other bet, and they lose, tremendous amounts of money. While if you push the exchange model, the platform will never have a risk going on, number one. Number two, the players are going to get much better deals, and the fees will be 90% less. But obviously, existing businesses aren't interested in promoting that, because they want that juicy, 7 to 10% on the gross, which is what they make off of retail investors now.
Yeah. So will you be operating in U.S. states?
Yes, that's one of our main focuses of the money that we're raising through NoLimit Crowdfund.com. We're raising 4.9 million, like my background says, and a lot of that money is going towards the application processing and securing of the sports betting licenses that now many states have come online, and we went from only one state, Nevada, having sportsbook betting, to now over 20, and many states, California, and everybody's trying to get those sportsbook rules on the books, because the states are cleaning up huge. I mean, New York did $1 billion the first 2 weeks that they went live.
And the tax rate is really pretty high too. So
you're laughing.
Money. Yeah.
You're laughing because you're in New York and you're like, ha ha ha, we're making a lot of money.
I know exactly. Yeah, no. The tax rate, I think, is 54%.
Right. And right. And you would think, well, how are you going to make money with that kind of that kind of approach? And it's something to think about. It's something that you need to consider. But as a company, we have multiple sources of revenue. We're also getting into the data feed business, and we're not going to try to focus on one single aspect of everything. And again, if you go back to the exchange model, you know what? We'll be happy to pay that 50%. Because we're not going to have risk on certain fees that we collect through the exchange. Again, we do plan to have also the regular sportsbook retail model, but we are going to try to entice players to use the exchange model better, which hasn't been promoted by the sportsbooks, again, because the profitability level is so much lower. They used to laugh at Jeff Bezos because everything he did was always, fractions of a percent profit margin. And everybody said, well, you can't survive on 0.5% profit margin. He's like, okay, just watch me. So
them.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck with this capital raise. Very interesting kind of new technology to apply to a red hot industry. So I look forward to seeing how this goes. Thanks, Rafael.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jane. Thanks to your whole team. I love talking to you and talking about, what we're doing. And I love looking at your other interviews. They're very interesting. And I've noticed how a lot of the interviews that you have done have actually turned into very successful projects. So you've got your finger on the pulse. So congrats to your whole team.
Well, thank you. And please update us as things go on. And
I will. Great, Jane King.
Thanks, Rafael.
All right. Thank you.